Was it truly necessary to buy so many of the damn things? You know that the scent of lavender makes me sneeze.
Ah, what a pity. Poor little Raven can't even stand the smell of flowers. But yes, I'm afraid that one of the final requirements is a bundle of fresh-cut lavender, so you'll have to deal with it for... Oh.
What are you... Oh.
Indeed.
It appears our dear mage has worked themselves into quite the nervous fit.
It certainly looks to be the case. I haven't seen a magic flare like this in years, possibly decades. Look at all this.
Oh, I'm looking at it. Hells, it's near impossible to not look at it. Everything is everywhere.
I wish with all my being that I could say you were wrong. But by the deities, I have never seen such chaos outside of a battlefield.
You've never been to a tavern past midnight, I take it.
Certainly none of the ones you frequent.
There are times I forget how sharp your tongue can be, but you never fail to remind me.
A reminder every once in a while does you well, given how prone you are to flying too close to the sun. However, now is not the time to linger over that. Right now, there are bigger issues at hand.
Such as how close those levitating books are getting to the lit candles?
Well, yes, there's quite a problem. But my concerns lie mainly in the way that our dear Mage's magic seems to be causing the floor to split in half.
Not just the floors, it appears. The walls seem to be involved as well.
Hells, but they are! We need to put a stop to this.
If there was one thing I didn't expect from today, it was to agree with you, but in this case, I think it would be stupid not to.
In most cases, it would be stupid not to agree with me, but that's not important right now. For now, let's focus on getting our mage back in their own head, so their magic doesn't threaten to destroy the entire forest.
That would be quite unfortunate. I'd rather like our home here. Any suggestions, oh so clever wolf?
Well, the simple solution would be to simply walk up to them and catch their attention, so we could direct them back into reality.
That might work, but it would be risky, given the chaotic state of the magic around us. Our mage could lose control of their magic, and we could easily be injured if that were to happen.
Yes, and that's why you're going to do it.
Truly, that's your plan? You would just sacrifice me to the forces of wild magic like that, would you, Wolfie?
Oh, don't act surprised. You're the one of us who has wings. If there is to be a magic flare, you could dodge it better than I can.
This is because I ate the last of the raspberry tarts yesterday, isn't it?
Do you even have to ask? Of course it is.
Ugh. Ugh, fine. If you'll finally quit being so huffy about it.
I'll make no such promises.
You're impossible. You know that, yes?
Thank you. I try to be.
Oh, shut up.
Not until you do what needs to be done.
Fine, I'm going. But if I get injured, you have to tend to my wounds.
Fine. I can agree to that. Now go. I can see the storm clouds forming above us, which is particularly troubling as I should be seeing the roof.
Patience, Wolfie. I'm going.
Well, go faster. The rain will ruin the rug.
You eat one tart, one, and you're punished for the rest of the week. I swear it. Ah!
Good reflexes there, bird.
Oh, shut up, won't you?
No, I don't think I will.
My dear Mage, we've returned from the marketplace with everything you've asked. Dear Mage, did you hear me? We've returned and we've brought the lavender with us, as well as some of the honey candies that you like. Can you hear me, my dear?
Shit!
Who's got good reflexes now, Wolfie?
Aha, you're so funny.
Thank you. I try my best.
Hello, dear Mage. Good to see that you didn't panic while we were away.
I swear, we leave for only a few hours. A mere fraction of the day. And what do we come back to? Absolute chaos. The house hasn't been this big of a mess since the harpies tried to steal all the copper pots and pans last year.
Raven is right, you know. Look at all this. The books are nearly tearing themselves apart. And the candles are burnt nearly completely. There's wax all over the ground. The biggest surprise of all is how you haven't hurt yourself on any of the things you've sent floating through the house. If you were anyone else, I'm sure you'd have gotten one of those jars to crash down on your head hours before we would have returned. You're lucky that fortune has blessed you so graciously.
No excuses. We specifically told you that there was no need to worry, and yet here we are. Come now, are you really so worried that we wouldn't get the right items?
Yes. We know that you weren't worried about us. We've been your familiars for so long that I'd be hurt if you worried about giving us orders and us not being able to follow them.
But that doesn't mean that your reason for all this panic isn't any less foolish. Genuinely, I don't understand why you're so worried about impressing the council when you're easily the most powerful mage that has come before them in generations. Deities above, you have both of us as familiars. 2 familiars. No one had heard of such a thing before you came along. Do you really think that the council has any reason to declare you unfit to be recognized as a full-fledged mage of storm?
Raven has a point, dear Mage. Given your level of skill and power, the council has no reason to deny you a formal title. In fact, they'd be fools to do so. Your powers are invaluable to maintaining the balance of nature, and no one can ignore that. They should require no further evidence than everything you've already done. You can create and destroy weather phenomena. You can help change the seasons. You have control over the skies above. You don't need to create some basic potions or cast a mediocre spell. Your abilities speak for themselves.
You know, dear Mage, I can't begin to explain how frustrating it is to hear you talk so lowly of yourself. To us, it is merely common sense that you are a wonder of this world. Other people should recognize it as well, given how plainly evident your power is. And yet, here you stand, doubting yourself and what you're capable of. I swear to you, there is no reason to be so worried right now.
We know. And though we don't agree with your assessment of your skills, we still want to support you and do whatever it is necessary to ease your mind. However, putting so much stress on yourself will do much more harm than good.
Exactly. You're working yourself to exhaustion trying to prove your worth, but everyone already knows of your skill and the practice you put into your craft. You have nothing to prove, not even to the council. But if you keep working like this, you're not even going to be able to keep your eyes open during their assessment. Are you trying to joke right now? Because your punchline is falling quite flat with your audience.
An audience who is damned worried about you at this point, I might add.
A great point, Wolfie. Our emotions are tied to your own, dear Mage, for better or worse. It means whenever you wear yourself down like a dull, cracking blade, we feel the same way. Of course, we aren't mad at you for this. We became your familiars already knowing what it would entail, but it's impossible to deny the effects of feeling your panic, exhaustion, and self-doubt. Haven't you noticed Wolfie's pacing at night? You know he paces when he is so worried he can't sleep. It's not helped any by the fact that he doesn't like falling asleep when you're not in the room with us.
Of course, dear Mage. You know that I hate the idea of being far away from you and being unable to protect you. Keeping you safe is part of my duty as your familiar, and it sets me on edge when I feel that I'm not doing my job properly.
Not to mention how your ears twitch and your fangs grow. It always gives you the worst headaches.
It does, yes. Though your own worried habits are just as bad, as all three of us have seen, your panic reaches a boil and you start to pluck your feathers out while you hum nervously. It's a worrying sight. Now don't act like you don't have your own worrying habits, dear. Just like you were doing when we came in. Your mind slips away from you and your magic goes with it. It makes for a wild danger that can lash out at any moment, and your mind is too far away to notice it. It makes my heart stop dead in my chest every time, because I don't know what to do to help you.
It's terrifying, honestly. Because it's never been this bad before. It's usually once a season or so, when your responsibilities overwhelm you. We can handle it if it only happens for a night or two every once in a while. But this time, it's been more than a week, and all of us are far too worn out to let it continue anymore.
Our dear birdie is right. None of us can continue like this anymore, least of all you. Your eyes look so heavy, and your shoulders weighed by the weight of the earth. You need rest, dear Mage, and you can't put it off any longer.
No arguments. You're going to put down your grimoire and step away from the workbench. This moment, my dear, because none of us can wait to rest anymore.
Keep this memory in your mind, because this is the one of the few times I'm going to openly agree with Raven, without making a joke, at her expense. But it's just as Raven said, you need a break, and so do we. And there's no better way to find our energy than by sleeping together.
Indeed, keep this memory very well in mind, since I'm going to refrain from pointing out the less than polite implications of Wolf's words.
Ignore her. Now, really, it's time for you to step away from your work. There's days before the council shows up, dear Mage. Trust us, we have time. The daybed is right there, the blankets are warm, and the storm sounds like your heartbeat. Now come on, just give in and come take a nap with us.
Or preferably, sleep with us.
At this rate, I'm going to steal our dear for all myself and leave you without anyone to cuddle.
Aw, come on, Wolfie. You know wouldn't do that to me. You like using my wings as blankets too much to kick me out.
Maybe so. But don't test your luck too much. There's other blankets that backtalk far less than you do.
How rude!
Only as much as you are.
Are you hearing this, dear Mage? Absolute slander!
I don't think our mage can hear you over the sound of your wings covering their ears.
Oh, my apologies.
Well, look at that. Your eyes are already drifting closed. And you tried to tell us you weren't tired. Seems like your lie isn't holding up here.
It didn't at all, though I'm sure we're not too far behind, given how your ears and tail are starting to relax as well. It makes you look more relaxed than normal, if you ask me.
Are you saying I normally don't look relaxed?
No, I'm saying you normally look stoic and somewhat mean.
Who's being rude now?
Me? But is that really a surprise at this point?
I'd be more surprised if you weren't. Of course, my dear. If you want to pet me while we drift off, you may be my guest.
Then move closer, Wolfie. Need to get under my wings so they can reach. I think this is exactly what all of us needed.
I would say that I agree. But I worry that if we agree on too many things of the same things in one day, we might set off an Armageddon.
I'd say that you're right, but that would be agreeing with you.
Then why don't we just lie here in silence until sleep claims us? If we were to start the end of the world right now, we'd all be far too tired to survive it anyway. So I think we might as well sleep and put it off for another day.
If you insist, I suppose. For now, I'm just going to lay my head on our dear Mage's shoulder and plan to steal your breakfast tomorrow, Wolfie.
Not if I steal yours first.
Well, we'll have to see about that, won't we?
Perhaps we shall.